Anthro didn't say anything, but he's coming. Newtin then shouted, "Then watch him. See how evil he really be. See how evil he has become." Newtin got ready. Then suddenly the Black Mutant came over a small rock cliff, but was 25 feet from Newtin. He got Newton's attention by saying, "You finally came." Newtin jumped down on the ground, did a roll, then rolled up onto his feet and fired the kryptonite ray rifle into the Black Mutant's chest. The yellow beam just sat there and didn't do a thing. The Black Mutant smiled at Newtin. When Newtin quit, thinking that he should have stayed back in the station, the Black Mutant knocked the rifle out of his hands with the thought, "Time to pray to me, Newtin," the Black Mutant said, and Newtin was pulled over to the mutant on his knees from a lift of an arm. "Pray that you die easy," the Black Mutant said, clenching his fist, and Newtin was smashed down into a praying position. Dr. Anthro laughed. Newtin managed to grunt out, "You're a dumb, jealous mutant, playing the role of a devil." "Not devil," the Black Mutant replied. "Zeus." Newtin then grunted, "You said you would kill people to get stronger." "I know, and I will," the mutant said, then added, "You're a decent mutant, you need a decent grave." Newtin looked around, and there was a perfectly cut grave. Dr. Anthro laughed again. "For a decent grave, there must be a decent gravestone." The Black Mutant put out his arm, and there was a gravestone that said, Here lies the stupid dumb mutant Newton, born 2356, died 2379. The Black Mutant didn't put down the right date because he could have cared less if Newton ever existed. Dr. Anthro laughed again. "Prepare to die, Newton." The Black Mutant put out his arm and started moving a part of a mountain, getting it ready to smash Newton. Newton said desperately, "Didn't you say that you would kill another mutant like yourself to keep from having competition?" "Yes," the Black Mutant said, getting the mountain in smashing range. Dr. Anthro laughed again. "Then why don't you kill Dr. Anthro?" Dr. Anthro quit laughing and bit his tongue. The Black Mutant said, forgetting to read Newton's mind, "I'm going to make an eternal slave out of him because there won't be anyone around to do what I want." "This is your last chance, Matt," the Black Mutant said to Newton, calling him by his original name. But hearing the horrible plans of the Black Mutant, that he was going to do to him, the Black Mutant was going to do to him, Dr. Anthro stretched forth his hand, and a thunderbolt shot out of his fingers like a flamethrower and hit the Black Mutant, stunning him. Anthro fired another and another bolt that hit the mutant, draining his power, even taking some out of his artificial limbs. Anthro got him again and again, putting the Black Mutant on his knees. Then the Black Mutant fired some at Anthro, and they continued till they were drained of their energy. Anthro had some, but the Black Mutant was almost powerless. "Hurry," groaned the doctor, "before he gets it back." Newton got up off the ground and hit the Black Mutant across the face with his supernatural artificial strength, then slammed his fist into the Black Mutant's stomach, then hit him hard across the neck. The Black Mutant did a roll and staggered up. Newton slammed his elbow into the Black Mutant's stomach again, then karate chopped him hard on the neck, then on the other, then flipped the mutant over his side. The mutant got up, and Newton gave him a 1-2 across the face, then leaped on the Black Mutant. The two rolled over a rock, then into a ditch. When Newton the Black Mutant got up, The Black Mutant hit Newton across the face, knocking him down, then hit him again when he got up, knocking Newton back. The Black Mutant swung again, but Newton caught his arm, twirled him around, and bashed the Black Mutant across the face with all his might. The Black Mutant fell on his back like a board. Newton jumped on him and picked up a boulder to smash the dazed mutant. "Forgive me, Doug," Newton yelled. Then suddenly the mutant's eyes turned back. "You should have killed me while you had the chance, Newton, for your chance has just faded." Then Newton went flying off the Black Mutant, boulder and all. Newton ran up to the side of the mountain. He was cornered by the Black Mutant and his weird-looking eyes. Newton backed up against the rocky wall and was about to throw a rock at the mutant, but when he did, the mutant caught his arm with his mind and flipped Newton on his head. The Black Mutant then picked up a boulder as big as a bed and threw it down at Newton. Newton quickly leaped out of the way and knocked out the Black Mutant's legs from under him. The two mutants rolled into the grave the Black Mutant had made for Newton. Newton flew out, grabbed the kryptonite ray rifle, and shot the Black Mutant with it, draining him of all of his energy, till he was a normal mutant. Then fired it at the mountain. That caused such a big rumble that it knocked the Black Mutant into the grave, and a huge boulder and some of the mountain came roaring down and killed the Black Mutant in Newton's grave. Newton got up and wiped the sweat from his brow and walked over to Dr. Anthro. Before Anthro died, he said, "You don't know what it'll ever be like to be a god, Un." Then after that, Newton flew back to the station and was free to leave the moon in his ship Mutania. Newton sat in his throne and looked at the stars go by on the viewing screen. He was the only one on the moon. Callisto finally got his machine working again, but couldn't steer it. Callisto looked forward and saw a cliff coming up in view. "Oh no," he managed to groan out through his ruined vocal cords. Callisto went right over the side of the cliff, crashing, smashing, and breaking the machine to bits. He survived the fall, but now he was no longer a paraplegic, but a quadriplegic. He looked up into the sky and saw the atmosphere leaving quickly. A few minutes later, after the wind blew by, the moon was like it used to be before the Black Mutant gave it an atmosphere. And Newton steered Mutania further and further into space, never to return again. And that's the end of that story. And that's all I read today. Maybe that's all I'll ever read. Good day. This is Bruce Ramsey. Today is October 23rd, 1983. October 23rd? Well, anyway, yeah, it's about Sunday, October 23rd, I guess. And I'm going to read the Newtin. And I'm reading Operation Space Station. This is after Newton killed the Black Mutant, of course. It starts off like this. "This is Newton, recording on my ship's tapes. It has been a week since I left the moon. I am very lonely on my ship. My crew is dead and there is nobody to talk to. The last time something like this happened to me was when my crew deserted me. Although it wasn't really my crew, because they were captured and replaced with robot duplicates. And the only source of entertainment was to throw a rubber ball back and forth with Bruno, a big, dumb retard that could not think or talk very well. And now he's dead because there was nobody here to feed him, feed or care for him in his cell. It was a ghastly sight and smell. Yes! Okay, just a minute. I thought she was calling. Okay, that was Bernice getting me to do something for her. And here I go again. Frisian Space Station. Oh, that's it. Alright. Anyhow, even though I have so much boredom and loneliness, I think I can get back what I had 2 years ago by returning to that strange planet with a timekeeper. I haven't been there for 9 years, but if it helped me get my crew back once, then it might help me to get my crew back again. I am traveling at Warp 15 and have been doing so ever since I got my ship back. I'm desperate and determined, and I will arrive in 2 hours. Over and out. Two hours pass, and Newton put Mutania in orbit around the strange planet. After that, Newton got into the transporter room and beamed down. Mutania was all alone. When Newton beamed down, he was on a strange terrain. A dark sky and ancient ruined Greek-like temples were here and there on the mountains and valleys. The planet was dark and lifeless, no wind or anything. It was a cold, dead planet whose sun had burned out millenniums ago. There was a strange mist that covered the ground. Newton walked through it and searched here and there for the Keeper of Time. Newton walked through the old ruins and felt the cold, damp stones. An hour passed, Newton found the Keeper of Time. Newton walked around the donut-like structure. Newton walked around the glowing circular object and asked, "I wonder if this thing still works." Then suddenly, the donut-like structure spoke out saying, "A question. Since the dawning of thy sun, and when thy earth was forming, thou hast awaited a question." Newton said, "Good," then asked, "Do you remember me?" The structure said, "I am the Keeper of Time. I know thou. Thou art the Newton who came here 9 years ago." "That's right," Newton said happily. "Can you send me back into the past again?" There was a long pause, and the Keeper said, "Yes, but on one condition." "What's that?" asked Newton with a fear in his voice. The timekeeper... yeah. "The last time thou went through here, I made a mistake." "What was that?" asked the frightened Newton. "I pulled thou back into this world again, and it destroyed a little bit of time. So if thou go back through here again, it shall kill you. It shall kill thou. And it destroyed a little bit of time." Oh yeah, I already read that part. It wilt kill thou. "Then how can I go back into the past and get my crew. There is a way. Once thou goest back in time, thou wilt have to do 18 labors in 2 years. They wilt be known as labors such as Hercules' 12 labors. The first one wilt be anything that thou can do, such as getting thy crew. Then thou wilt have to do 17 more. The second shalt be to destroy an unknown structure on Mars. The third wilt be a dimension outside thy solar system. Thou won't understand it until then. The fourth wilt be to land on Mercury, and across a lake of lava to a throne that hast a skull on it. Thou art to smash it, but there wilt be forces keeping you away from it. Thou also need a person with you. The fifth, sixth, and seventh wilt be on Pluto, where you wilt have to kill a snow nymph with your crew. The sixth will be to travel down a gigantic hole in the ice land and destroy another structure. That wilt be protected by forces unknown to this universe. The seventh wilt be to find a way to destroy the forces. 8 wilt be to slay a Hydra on Jupiter. It wilt be much like Hydra on Jupiter. It will be much like Hercules's. The 9th, 10th, and 11th wilt be to take a trip. Wilt be a trip to Uranus. Thou wilt have to go through a wind tunnel with thy crew. The 10th wilt be to slay a monster at the end of the tunnel that wilt be guarded by another skull on the platform, which wilt be for thou to smash it to bits that art small. And that too shalt be guarded by forces. It wilt be thy 7th labors to finish. The 12th, 13th, and 14th wilt be on the rings of Saturn and on Saturn itself. The 12th wilt be on Saturn, where thou shalt have to fight another monster. Then the 13th wilt be to stand on the debris around Saturn with thy crew, and which shalt be your 14th labor. The skull wilt also be protected by forces. The 15th wilt be on Neptune. Thou wilt have to spend a night on it, looking for a skull to crush. The hard part wilt be finding it with forces keeping thou from it. The 16th and 17th wilt be on the forbidden planet in the sun's galaxy. Thou wilt have to make it there in 5 days from thy last labor, which west on Neptune. If thou don't make it there in 5 days, thou wilt die of a strange leprosy. Remember, 5 days after thy Neptune labor, and the sun's galaxy is quite a million light years away. And if thou dost make it there, thou wilt have to destroy a planet in the shape of a skull. That wilt be thy 17th. The last labor, the 18th, wilt be unknown. Thou wilt have to find out the meaning of Kanjing Lada Ritsuwak and wipe out that labor. And that is all. The donut finally quit talking. Newton pondered over the thought of making the big jump. After several hours of meditation, Newton leaped through the time threshold and found himself tumbling through a dimension of flashing colors of light. He traveled He was traveling through a tunnel. Newton didn't have to memorize what the structure said because the structure kept him from forgetting. A few seconds later, Newton found himself back on the moon with his crew. Newton was thinking of a way to help change time and history, but he was fighting forces that kept him from changing it. Boy, Newton, the moon hasn't changed a bit in all these 11 years. Obacoba said, walking on the moon dust. Which is, boy, Newton, the moon hasn't changed in all these 11 years. Obacoba said, walking on the moon dust. Really? I can see the space station's beacon now, said Newton, pointing to the space station that was 2 miles away. 2 hours later, and Newton had gotten in a fight with Callisto and wiped out Mason's space station. He didn't do a thing to change history at all. And 2 hours more, Newton was on his old space station. He shocked his crew when he told them that he was thinking of remodeling it. And an hour later, Newton's space station was as good as new. It looked exactly like Mason's in every way. Sonia asked, "What are you going to do now, Newton?" "Let's see. I'll make Shirley the sensors officer, you the weapons officer, and Obacoba will be used for a pilot, just in case we want to leave to another planet. And I will take his place when he gets bored," Newton said again. Newton really wanted to change history to get it, but he seemed to be having an extremely tough time trying to break his old nature. He walked around the control panel and noticed that there was a new gadget in his old space station. "What's this?" Newton asked. Sergeant Storm replied, "That's a jettison tube. You use that for jettisoning debris like trash, dirt, or anything that stinks or makes stations dirty." "I guess that's nice to know," Shirley said before Newton. I guess that's nice to know, Shirley said before Newton could say that also. Then, as Obacoba was going to say something, Newton looked out the window and saw Callisto walking towards his station. Newton said angrily, "That spinach man doesn't give up easy, does he?" "Calm down, Newton," said Mason. I found out that Callisto had some rotten space beans. That's why he's acting so mean to you. That better be it, or I'll can him with all the other vegetable goods like I did last time." "You have a hardened heart, Newton," Sergeant Storm said. "I know. I'll try to control myself when Callisto comes aboard my station." An hour and 3 minutes passed. Callisto said that he wouldn't fight with Newton and instead help him. Callisto got back into Newton's space station after putting the anti-gravity discs as Newton ordered him to do. Newton called Mason on the radio, saying, "I'm going to lift off in 2 minutes. Good luck, Doug Davis." "Good luck," Doug Davis said. We'll watch from our deflector shields on our space station. Wish me luck. Over and out," Newton said excitedly. He pressed a button on the doors, locking them up. "Why are you so jittery, Callisto?" asked Shirley. "I thought you were in control of your emotions." "We're just going to lift off in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. "What's the matter, Callisto?" Newton shouted. I rigged up your station. Can I go? I'm homesick," Callisto shouted. "I'm glad you did. We wouldn't blast off if you didn't rig it." Then Newton started the countdown. Callisto was trying to open the hatch. 30 seconds went by. There were only 2 minutes left. Shirley brought over some discs that looked exactly like the ones Callisto locked onto the space station. Newton knew that there were only three, and that there and that they were the only ones. Callisto had placed them replaced them with something else. Callisto, there were only three, not six. What did you put on the bottom of my space station? Newton shouted as he got up out of his seat to rough up Callisto. Callisto shouted, "I put bombs on the bottoms of your girders, and once it lifts, it will come down from its weakness, and it will activate the bombs, causing a superatomic explosion, destroying you and your crew, so I can get $2 billion. But since I'm locked in, I'll just die with a smile on my face." Hearing that, Newton grabbed Callisto around his big green head and started punching away into Callisto's head. Newton knocked Callisto around the space station, bashing Callisto in the big green head and skinny alien chest. Callisto was just hanging on the sidebars, all black, blue, and pulpy. A minute went by, and Callisto was sitting on the floor, all dazed and drained. Newton sat in his seat and started filling the engines of the station with more power. The countdown started. Callisto got up and fell on the disposal tube. Then suddenly Newton remembered that he was doing Suddenly Newton remembered that he was doing everything just the way he was last time. Newton sat down in his seat and put his arms over his face and concentrated. He began to shake. Callisto looked up at him strangely. "What's the matter, Newton?" Sonia asked. Newton didn't say. But looked like he was going to die of a heart attack. He was struggling to change time. Then Callisto staggered up off the floor, and Newton quit his straining. He knew now that he had changed time, because last time Callisto didn't get up, but opened the hatch and tried to force Obacoba down it. Suddenly the entire space station began to rumble. The thing was starting to lift off. Newton quickly pressed the overload button, and the entire space station began to lift off into space. Newton and his crew kept their fingers crossed as the space station shot up into the dark moon sky. Mason's crew watched the scene with their fingers crossed also. The station went higher and higher. Sonia said, "We are at 2,050 feet, 60, 70. She continued the report. At 500, the station shot off slowly, but quickly got faster. 1,000 feet. Newton pulled another cord at Sonia's report, shooting it up faster. 2,500, Sonia said again. Everyone was a bag of nerves, but no one had the butterfly stomach like Newton. He was going to do his best to win his space station crew. Then suddenly Sonia shouted, "Newton, our power is beginning to drop. I don't think we can make it." "Shut up, Sonia. You can ruin it for me." Then suddenly the space station fell down and was now. Then suddenly the space station slowed down and was now stationary in space. Then a terrifying thing happened. The grip of fear. A terrifying thing gripped them all as they began to fall back.